thinking.
Is it Smite 2 or Smite 1 in that area, or they're equally good? And hopefully by the end of this video, I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I know roughly how I'm going to rank all these categories, but I don't know which game's actually going to win more categories. So hopefully by the end of this video, we'll have a good overview of my thoughts on which game is overall better. Of course, leave your own thoughts in the comments down below, you know, as I'm going through this or whatever. Always interesting to hear the community's thoughts and not just mine. But without further ado, let's just jump in with our first category, which is the Conquest map.
Smite
and
1.
Unfortunately, I think Conquest map
Smite
has
1.
to go handily to Smite 1.
100%.
Smite 1 just had it down a lot better than Smite 2 does at the moment, I think. The Conquest map is one of the weaker areas of Smite 2 currently. There's just really not like anything super interesting to do.
If you guys didn't see the video I did the other day, I literally covered everything I don't like about the Conquest map. I agree, it is actively right now the worst part about Smite 2. I don't like the structure of it. I don't like how the buffs work. I don't like some of the objectives. I don't like how easy it is to take objectives. Not in terms of like how easy it is to kill a fire giant, but like you grab pyro, that does damage to a tower. You also get a pyro bomb that helps you secure the next, you know, fire giant, because it's almost impossible with Sunder and a bomb to be able to out secure somebody with that. I don't like the comeback mechanics. I just so far,
a little bit too much
agreed.
Farm available on the map.
Don't like the
too
map.
much safe farm available on the map.
Safe farm,
A
agreed.
bit of like a PvE meta, and that's part of the reason why like mage solos are so
Same.
strong. It's part of the reason why junglers get so fed. Like, there's a lot of issues that come from the Conquest map that make the core game feel a little bit worse to play compared to Smite 1's Conquest map,
Agreed.
which obviously has had many over the iterations. But I'm generally talking about the current Year 11 Conquest map that you can play on Smite 1, which personally I don't think is the best version of the Conquest map we've ever had on Smite 1. But even that, even the Year 11.
Almost every Smite 1 map is better than Smite 2 in my opinion. Almost every. I like the Smite 1 maps better than this map. I actually dislike this Conquest map that we have right now the least. I also, at the same time, don't think they should be investing the time and money into doing that, but they should definitely have it ready by, like, January, February time of next year.
Current Conquest map, I think, is better than Smite 2's Conquest map. It definitely just wins out in that regard. I don't think there's any argument to say that they're even equally good. I don't think it's, like, an absolute light years difference. It's not like Smite 2's is completely terrible and Smite 1's is godlike. Smite 1's has issues. Smite 2 has more issues, I think, so it has to go to Smite 1 for the Conquest map category. Replayability is an interesting one. I
Smite
think
2,
for replayability,
100%.
I might say equally good, because Smite 1 obviously has more gods and probably more items, I would assume. So like in terms of replayability, like each game feeling different, Smite 1 can generally take that category because it just has more stuff overall.
Replayability for me is Smite 2, and it's light years higher replayability because there's multiple ways to play a god. You can play gods in a wide variety of roles now because you can add actives to a character that normally couldn't flex into support, and now they can flex into support because you can grab Team Beads, you can grab Stampede, you can grab these multiple different aspects that allow you to play a character in a different way, and then the 50 gods we're missing don't decrease the replayability because all of the aspects allow you to play gods in a variety of different ways. And a lot of people, the only people that could say replayability for Smite 1 is better is people who only play one god, and that single god isn't in Smite 1 yet. But if that's the case, that's just a biased view of replayability, because if you're somebody who likes to play a variety of things, having those 50 other gods doesn't make the replayability worse because there's so many different ways to play the current iterations of the god that are in Smite 2.
But I think of the stuff that is in the game, Smite 2's replayability is actually better, and it will only get better as time goes on. And that is because of two main things, I suppose. One is aspects. I've got the aspect icon on the little card here for replayability, and that's a big part of it. Aspects just let you play gods in so many different ways. You know, one god that might have been like previously only solo and viable, only play get into in the item. But yeah, I think Smite 2 handily to Smite 2 a couple of years down the line, but I think at the moment replayability is...
I even think like maybe I could agree equally good. I think by January this replayability moves over to here for sure though. I have had more fun getting back on Smite and grinding Smite 2 more than I ever did Smite 1.
I'll be equally good between the two. God quality goes handily to Smite 2, I think. I think the gods are just generally higher quality in Smite 2. The +1 changes are generally pretty good.
Did a video on this as well when we were talking about Leon's tweet, although I took it a little bit too literally when he said, Smite 2 is just the Smite 1 gods, but more boring or worse. You were a dual main? Not really. It's just what my content was. So, I mean, I had, like, even throughout all the years that I played dual, I still had more Conquest games played than dual, even until, like, the later times where I had done, thousands of duels a split just for content. Yeah, I was dual content, but I had more Conquest in other games played than dual for the entire history of me playing Smite. Duel was just the best way for content.
Good, I'd say like 80 to 90% of the plus Smite 1.
Quality,
and while
yep.
I think each individual
God quantity, yep. So far, I agree with everything. I might still already put replayability personally over on Smite 2 personally.
individual god is higher quality
Personally,
in Smite
twice.
2. The god quality to Smite 2. Again, this is
graphic quality. It's not even close.
Another kind of like empirical.
Nothing to even debate there.
Generally, just looks better, you know, in terms of like environment art and stuff like that.
Graphic style. Graphic quality and graphic style. What does he say about graphic style? You gotta explain this to me.
Quality. It does make the game a little bit harder to run, obviously. But yeah, graphical quality-wise, just the quality of the graphics, I think it's inarguable.
Just those dual days, I know.
Is better. Moving on to graphical style, though, it's a bit further down the list, but we'll just skip ahead to it. Graphical style, I do think probably goes to Smite 1. I think there's an argument to say equally good, but I do think Smite 1 generally just looks better, you know, in terms of like environment art and stuff like that. The main reason I was considering putting it into equally good is because the gods, like the skins and stuff, the artwork for the items as well, the ones that have it, is generally better in Smite 2. I think the main area that graphical style is like missing in Smite 2 is like the conquest map and the environment art in general.
That's fair. That's fair. The environment art is not really cooked yet. I would probably still put it as equally good because those areas like the purple buff, the blue buff, the speed buff, and like the big Medusa helm and stuff like that, and the glowing parts of the map, I think I prefer the graphic style of Smite 2. But I do agree the environment art and the textures on the conquest map are a little bit lacking. But like, look at this. This map alone, graphical style wise, is leaps and bounds better than any aesthetic map I've ever seen them make. So actually, never mind. I think I'm gonna say equally good, if not Smite 2 right now. Conquest map only, Smite 1's graphical style was better. I agree. But because I don't really think the Smite 2 map is really cooked yet.
Most of the maps looks really bad. Like obviously, Assault doesn't even have its
if you took the Joust map, this Camelot style map, and it doesn't have to be the same aesthetics, but just like that amount of quality of the map, if that was the same, and it, not the style, but the same presence of just like, you know, like the wall and then like torches and like, if that style, and again when I say style, I don't mean the conquest map has to be Camelot, but just like that style of attention to detail on different environments, if that was similar in conquest, I think I would probably put it all the way over to Smite 2 right now. I would probably put it in equally good though.
Worse in Smite 2 than it does in Smite 1. I think
this map is my favorite aesthetic map in terms of like the quality of it.
Joust is a bit of an exception. We've got Joust in the background of this image here, and I think Joust is a little bit of an exception. I think Smite 2's Joust looks better than Smite 1's Joust did for sure.
Apparently, me and Intersect are just gonna agree every time. I have not watched this video, but apparently we're gonna agree every time after I say something. He's gonna say the exact same thing.
Honestly, now that I think about it, maybe I'll put it.
Okay, apparently we're gonna agree on everything. I literally paused the video to make a couple statements about, actually, I think this, and he does the exact same
equally
thing.
Good, honestly. I think it's a little bit of a hard sell to say that Smite 1 is better in graphical style in like every single way. I think Smite 2 is better in graphical style in some ways. Like I said, the Joust map is better. I think the
pre-watch
look better in terms of their graphical
pre-watch
style.
So we agree.
So some of them have got changes as they come over that make them look better. Consider putting into equally good. The main reason it goes to Smite
progression.
One is because there's just so many more progression systems in Smite 1. You've got your account level stuff, like the account level ups give you a bit more stuff overall and more like interesting stuff than just Smite 2 giving you either gems, if diamonds, sorry, if you have the Founders Pack, or just giving you a God token per.
Just the Ascension passes alone makes Smite 2 better, I think. The Ascension passes alone giving you 3 skins, more worshippers, a global emote, a title, 2 different trackers, a loading frame type thing, an emblem, an avatar, just in the Ascension Pass. I think the Ascension Passes alone move it here to here, because I don't think progression of getting a character's mastery up in Smite 1 means anything. And I was so much higher level than what they gave rewards for anyway, I don't even remember what they offered me or care, to be honest.
A level. Favor also exists in Smite 1, you know, that's definitely a progression style
Never
thing.
cared about favor. Never cared about favor, never cared about clan points, don't care about masteries in Smite 1. I liked getting a God mastery level 10, but I didn't care about the incentives of getting it done. I think Ascension passes for me are so good and so cool per God that it immediately already makes Smite 2 better than Smite 1.
You can spend that on cool stuff.
He's not wrong. There is more progression systems in Smite 1, but I just don't care about any of them. I care about a single Ascension Pass more than I care about all of the progression in Smite 1, I think.
Smite 2 has no favor system. Like, it's just more overall progression.
Well, like, another example, if we want to talk about progression systems, the coin, like the traveling markets, progression of earning coins to pay for the next market, or grinding coins to pay for the market you currently have. Ascension passes, traveling markets, and market coins pretty much is progression. Because if we're going to talk about favor, which is what you earn each game, I would rather earn coins and use those coins to spend on actual cosmetics.
And Smite 1 more different forms of progression that you can do, but I think the actual quality of the progression systems in Smite 2 is better. Ascension passes don't exist in Smite 1, and Ascension passes are really a sick form of progression in my opinion. You know, you can still level up your gods for flex points, get your stars and all that kind of stuff, but you also get a lot of good rewards with the Ascension passes. Obviously, they tie into like cosmetics and monetization and stuff like that.
I feel like we're agreeing, but like more progressions doesn't equal better, right? I feel like we're agreeing. I feel like he said the quality is better, but there's just so many other progression systems in Smite 1 that maybe are more interesting. But like favor and level progression in Smite 1 weren't interesting enough for me to put it
talk about a little bit further down. But I think
personally,
overall, like the design of Ascension passes.
I guess currently there's no free currency system. Well, I mean, you get free gods per level. You get a god token. You get a god token per level, and then as you level up the Ascension Pass, even if you haven't bought it, you get 450 free diamonds for getting somebody to level 10, which then allows you to purchase another, you know, a what's it called? You earn diamonds. You earn free diamonds by completing so technically it ends up being free, because even if you pay, it depends on legacy gems obviously as well, but if you pay 450 diamonds, right? You get the 450 back by completing the Ascension Pass, which means you can buy the next one for free and the next one for free. But there are premium skins to Smite 1 as well. Yeah, I guess it depends on if you have legacy gems on whether you'd consider it free or not.
It's really cool. You know, you get these like glow,
because you get like the classic skins for free if you had spent any gems in Smite 1 at all too. So, and then you get the free diamonds per day. Whereas in Smite 1, you only got free favor and then free gems at the end of the week.
Double emotes and different skins and different trackers and stuff like that. I think
free skin in the Wandering Market really sick. Too.
And also Wandering Market, to be fair, Wandering Market is a really good form of progression. You know, you can be consistently earning
Me and Intersect are going to agree on everything.
You know, different things
Me and Intersect are going to agree and apparently make the same points on everything, but maybe just disagree on where these deserve
maybe
to be.
You can kind of accumulate them. We'll try it out, which is a reasonable place to put
we did. I'm telling you, I promise you I've not watched this.
Balance is an interesting one. I think balance
is different in subjective patch to patch. It can't be different by game, so it's going to have to be an equally good. The 9.5 change was awful in Smite 1. We had some great metas, we had some dog shit metas. Smite 2, we've had some great metas, we've had some dog shit metas. We're in a reasonably good balance state right now.
Equally good or Smite 1 favor. I think I'll throw it.
I think it's equally good.
It's equally good for the moment, because honestly, like, both games are incredibly imbalanced, like, all the time. That's just kind of like the nature of a MOBA. You're never really going to find like a perfect balance point. There's always going to be some stuff that's broken, no balance updates and stuff like that. So Smite 1,
balance goes to equal for me. Balance goes to equal. Progression goes to Smite 2. Replayability goes to Smite 2. Graphic style goes to equally good.
I think overall the balance.
Actually, you know what? I'm cool with these two. Graphic style and replayability equally good right now.
Is about equally the same.
These two, I'm in agreement on everything except for balance and progression. No, except progression over here.
Equally good, I guess, is questionable. You know, the balance is usually pretty bad. Definitely argue that Smite 1 has been a victory that we did in this section, and
undebatable. However, let me just say one thing. Obviously, that undoubtedly competitive, you know, seasons 1 through 6 or 7 in Smite 1 were fantastic. Let me just say though, if the testament for how good our competitive scene can be was our first Founders tournament that in Vegas, granted, I would have liked to have a better venue and I would have liked to have it be like a real Worlds event, but the quality of our first ever LAN event for Smite 2 Founders, coming down to a reverse sweep and like some really dope plays with that like Scepter of Dominion and the hype around it, getting Aladdin in there. Oh buddy.
that is the main thing that is dragging it towards Smite 1. I think in terms of the overall competitive nature of the game, discounting SPL and pro play, it would be probably like equally good, because I think Smite 2 does have a lot of competitive advantages that Smite 1 didn't. It has a much higher skill ceiling with like splits.
Oh, so that's what he's saying.
Scaling and active items and more role flexibility and stuff.
The future of this is hard to answer then. The future of competitive is Smite 2. I think Smite 2, from a standpoint on a viewability and watching really cool plays being made, I think for sure is Smite 2. Throughout history, it's for sure Smite 1.
Like that, more potential to find.
So the future of Smite 2, I think, can give us better quality viewing, skill ceiling, good plays, good matches. But Smite 1 for sure was better.
Things that can break the game, which is good for the competitive side of things. But yeah,
yes, exactly. We're going to be able to see a new group of players, right? Because arguably season 7 through 10 of Smite, while I applaud the players, they gave us some great worlds. We got reverse sweeps. Everyone at worlds, like competed well. It was good quality. Quality of production was solid. I went to those worlds. It was hype. It would be nice to just see a whole bunch of new people
lots of SPL
with new personalities.
And any real kind of pro play, it means it just has to go so many more things you can.
I agree. It goes to Smite 1. I agree. This goes to Smite 1. Core gameplay 100% goes to Smite 2.
Beta is for you're trying to like add, I think once out the
polish and bugs. Yeah, it goes to. Oh God, that's so tough. Polish for sure. Smite 1, but bugs, Smite 1, like. We're going through a beta, and I'm getting frustrated by bugs, don't get me wrong. I'm getting frustrated by bugs, don't get me wrong, but I still ran into more bugs in Smite 1 than the development process of Smite 2. Getting stuck in the map, actives not going off, and don't get me wrong, we still see the same things. You guys hear me complain, but it's not... I would say if these were separated, polish for sure Smite 1 right now. It just had more time to be polished. Bugs, probably equally.
Development. And maybe if you took a look at like, Smite 1's alpha and beta phases, it might have been equally good, because trying to add as much stuff also goes overall. Game just has Smite 2 beat in terms of game.
Yeah, it's fair. Game 1.
Modes, obviously.
Smite 1 game mode, yeah.
Like the obviously adventure modes with for Smite 2. And yes, the new player
experience. I agree.
Experience is like explained.
I agree. I don't think there's anything great about Smite 2 or was great about Smite 1.
Bit about any like super like
events and hype for sure. Smite 1. It's not even close. Don't need to debate it.
As quick as they possibly can. 2 are equally good. More chests which aren't direct purchases.
Monetization, night and day better. None of the chest rolls, right? None of the. I hate chests. I hate when it's like, buy this 400 gem chest and hope you get the skin you have a 1 in 15 chance to get, and you get it last, and you've spent like 8,000 gems when realistically you could. The wandering market, traveler markets, all of that is my favorite monetization piece in any video game right now. Have it be somewhat cheap, and you play the game to pay for the stuff.
Which just suck. Hopefully at some point
yeah, we have chests, right? But like usually you can still have the opportunity to get the items outside of the chests, but you can opt for the chests later if you want.
You can get a way to direct purchase those, because that is really annoying. But basically everything is the equivalent markets that Wandering Market collections provide, and even the traveler market. That's accounting for the 2x inflation. You get 16,000 diamonds versus 8,000 gems, but you get like way more diamonds.
People always mistake this. Because they think the stuff costs twice as much in Smite 2 because they haven't looked at this. They'll come to me and they'll be like, "Why is this Wandering Market so expensive?" And I'm like, "Well, it's 32,000 diamonds and you get half of it off." And they're like, "Yeah, that's really expensive." And I'm like, "Not really. It's like $25 for like 5 different skins and a bunch of jump stamps and a bunch of battle pass, ascension pass tokens, and a bunch of blah 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 blah, and then it's half off, so it's only $12 if you have half." And yeah, like it's just like they don't realize sometimes that like the currency is doubled, right? So I have 16,000 diamonds in exchange for $99, whereas Smite 1 was 8,000 gems for $99.
Diamonds, these smaller packs, more than 2 times the amount more diamonds than you you would have got in Smite 1. Also, the Ultimate God Pack, you know, in Smite 4 diamonds than you would have got in Smite 1 for 3 diamonds back. That is unarguable. Split scaling, I had like so much depth
Item
to the game.
pool,
I think it's really
100%.
good.
Don't even need to debate it. It's better in Smite 2.
I didn't split this into cosmetic quality.
Cosmetics are better in Smite 2. They look better. There's more. This is probably what he was going to say. There's more skins in Smite 1, but how good the skins look in Smite 2, even if we're just talking like the Radiant skins. Yo, it's Timer. I changed my name. Yo, what's up, brother? What's up, Bree? The cosmetics in Smite 2 look fantastic, right? And that's just going to be set apart because of the graphic quality. There's more cool skins in Smite 1, but every time they bring it over to Smite 2, it looks night and day better. You guys ever see like the card art for a skin, and then you see it in Smite 1? Hell no, it's not. Oh, you guys ever see like a skin in Smite 1 and it's like, yo, this is gonna look sick. Then you see it in game, you're like, yo, it's kind of shitty. It's kind of, yeah. So Smite 2 for sure has better looking cosmetics.
And cosmetic quantity, which maybe used from
Here's the question.
all the new skins people.
Where does he put matchmaking? Matchmaking has been a rough ride, but I like the non-capped MMR/SR system. I like the roll queue, even if it hasn't been working properly. So I'm going to go out on a benefit of the doubt, and I'm actually going to put matchmaking over in Smite 2, only because I think the quality of the matchmaking system is better. It's just had to run through a ringer of a incredibly low player base, which has given it the perception that matchmaking in Smite 2 has been bad. The structure of Smite 2's matchmaking, I think, is phenomenal. Like, I don't think Smite 1's matchmaking would be better with the same amount of people. So if we ran through an entire year of 6,000 player base, or even like last year when we were first starting it, like a 1,300 player base, so 5 to 10,000 across all consoles and platforms or whatever. I don't think the Smite 1 matchmaking system would have ever been better than the Smite 2 system currently is. Like roll queue, getting your priority queue with like what you're trying to queue for. The SR system in the way it works, even though it's been a work in progress, I think the matchmaking system is leaps and bounds better than Smite 1's ever was. I think the thing that Smite 1 had going for it was just more players. So I agree with all of this. Replayability, I already give to Smite 2. Graphical style, I guess I can acquiesce say it's equally good. Progression, I also moved to Smite 2. Balance, equally good. Matchmaking, new player experience, those can all stay. Conquest map, better. God quantity, better. Competitive, better. Polish, better. Bugs, not better. Game modes, better. And events hype, better. So, there's, 8 over here. I don't know, 3. 8, 3 over here, and 6 over here. And these things, this is going to get better, obviously, with time, probably by January. This is going to be better with time. This has a potential to be a lot better. This, polish, and bugs are going to be better. Game modes, we'll see. And events/hype, we'll see. So I think these 3 are inevitably going over to Smite 2. Replayability is inevitably going over to Smite 2. Graphical style is inevitably going over to Smite 2. Balance might always be the same. It's very hard to balance them all. But progression is already over in Smite 2. Matchmaking is already over in Smite 2. New player experience is on its way over to Smite 2 as well. So I already give Smite 2 8 of these options. 3 here and 6 here, with over half of these already going to Smite 2 probably within the next 4 or 5 months. I think if Smite could do more with the style, can use the adjustment. That's what I was saying, yeah. If they cook like they cooked on this Camelot map where you're fighting in the streets, there's a dragon up there. If they cook the Conquest map with the similar amount of effort, not style, but the similar amount of texture, like everything about this map, maybe not the lighting. The lighting gets a little dull because it's a lot of grays with stone and different stuff like that. But like if they cook like they did on this map with the Conquest map, oh buddy, I like shorks. You know what I mean? Oh buddy, I like shorks.